Hi, and I know you're probably good people here to do a good deed, and that's okay. My name is Christian Paratiaco, and I advocate for people here, and that's why I'm here. Now, there's a risk always when people film me that they are a group of right-wing, misguided Christians who are anti-gay and think that I have no right calling myself a Christian advocating for these people because, well, they think gays or transgenders can't be Christians.
But why is that though?
Why?
Yeah, because I mean,
I'll tell you why it
aren't you
is.
God's child?
No, it's because most Christians don't read the book that goes with their religion. I am the right-hand man of Jesus Christ on earth. My name is Christian Paratiaco. You can verify who I am by checking with Paul Sorensen, richest, most powerful man in the Mormon Church. You can check with Father Simon at the Greek Orthodox Church on San Antonio Road in Santa Barbara. He is the one who told me I have the gifts of prophecy and revelation. I have no psychoses. I'm not 5150. I am qualified as a psychoanalyst in the opinion of one child psychiatrist, Dr. Hal Kopakin, my professor from UCSB Upper Division Child Psychology. But I usually don't go around introducing myself that way. It tends to intimidate people. And the reason to come full circle to show that I don't digress tangentially, but rather have said everything I have spoken because it relates to your question. God's biggest problem with Christians is their ignorance, their complete failure to read and understand the simplest concepts outlined in the Bible. And I suggest if you're going to be a Christian, begin with what Jesus said with regards to the overwhelming majority of his actions while he was alive. Too much emphasis is put on the fact that he died on the cross. Organized religion takes little bits and pieces here and there, usually out of context and not in the predominant, overwhelming contextual majority in which Jesus used them. He lived for us. He lived for us with an attitude of compassionate truth. Behind everything he said and did was the example. If you have an attitude of compassionate truth towards others, no man, no force can have power over you, as best exemplified by the apostles in Acts 2:4, when they sold everything they had, divided it up equally, and gave it to the poor. What man, what pope, for example, what prophet of a Mormon church can hold fear over you or else because you're hungry, you're sick, you know, all these problems? Well, just be poor, suffer till you die. Then you'll get yours after you die. Bullshit. I don't see either of them remotely living by the Beatitudes, the examples that Christ set. And when Christ said those, he didn't mean we have to be poor, we have to suffer. He meant that if we all have an attitude of compassionate truth towards one another, then we'll all have what we need. There is enough to go around. That if we show love, that's what love means. And Christians are too brainwashed with the hate. They use the example, thou shalt not commit sodomy. That means, in the context of the times, the time period in which it was written, sodomites had an attitude of perversion over and completely lacking an attitude of love. That does not mean if I want to perform certain sexual acts with the one I love, it's wrong. That means first and foremost comes the attitude of love. Jesus and his parents, etc., are guided by dreams 5 times in the first chapter of Matthew. Dreams. Wise men from the east, just like in Job. Oldest book that the Catholic Church says, oh, this is the oldest one, but don't take it seriously. It literally says that in the Catholic Bible to not take the book of Job seriously. How dare they? The book of Job is a complete example of what is truth. Just to let you know That's fine. That you can be affiliated with anyone. None at all. I have best friends who are Satanists, atheists, Mormons, Jews. None of us place any value on our friendship based on our political or religious affiliations. But to some Satanists, to some atheists, to some Jews, to some Mormons, to Gandhi, to Mother Teresa, Christ-like principles come naturally to me. And that's what it's all about. And at the end, I'd like to say, when asked about men marrying men, Jesus was asked specifically about men marrying other men. Because when he answered Matthew chapter 19, verse 12, he referred to eunuchs, because eunuchs, as we know, are the castrated males. And he said, the laws of marriage do not apply to everyone. For some eunuchs, men, are born from their mother's womb to be with eunuchs. I think he wasn't going into DNA and all that is pretty much the cause of how we are sexually. I don't think, but Jesus, what about XYY chromosomes and then XXY? No, I don't think he had to deal with that. His second answer, wow, he gave 3 examples. What a lengthy answer, straight from the mouth of Jesus. He said some men become with eunuchs during their lifetime, and still others for the kingdom of God's sake. Let he who can accept it, accept it. Apparently, he was just tired of human beings continually not understanding what he told me when he appeared to me in a dream. And he asked me, what do you want to know? I said, what's the right way for a man to live? And he said, like John the Baptist. I asked him if the Mormon church was true, and he said the Mormon church is as old as the Book of Mormon. It doesn't matter if everything they believe is not 100% accurate like the Bible historically. They live the gospel so much. They live like Christians should, with a Christian attitude. I call them my church family. I call the Baptists my church family. But Mormons are such good, loving people. At the top, it's a cult at the top. It's very powerful. There are reasons for it I'm not going to get into that may be good reasons, but I want to make that clear, because apparently he's just so fed up with that, and I am too. If I want to be a transgender and I live alone in the middle of nowhere and I fall in love with my goat or my sheep, as an extreme example, I'm nice to it, I love it. I'm not going to say it's right, I'm not going to say it's wrong, but what the man should do, he really loves it, he's all alone. I don't want him to feel guilty about it. I want him to feel happy and loved, and I want them both to feel happy and loved, and I don't want anyone to judge what they do, because you all have enough to work on for yourselves. Love is God's greatest gift.
It is.
It is, and the joy of human companionship. Who can say that my love for her, or my love for him, or his love for him, or his love for her is any different? It's not. We need to rise above the animal concern of who are we going to sleep with and what are we going to eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep. It's okay to be gay. And most gays need to learn that if 80 to 90% of them don't shape up their attitude, it has nothing to do with being gay. They are as far from what is necessary to be Christ-like. And by the way, my jaw got broken 4 places when I was protesting, so it makes me look like a slack-jawed yokel crackhead, which I'm not on drugs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so yes, you're welcome. Thank you. These people have the genuine, correct attitude of compassionate truth, I am certain. You took the time to listen. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. What is your name?
Eddie.
Danny?
Eddie.
Eddie and?
Julie.
Eddie and Julie. Cool. Yeah.
Be careful with your feet.
Oh.
There's some socks in there. Just don't want you to
Okay.
walk on glass range.
Let's see. Do I have money, means, and everything I need? Yes.
Okay.
I'm here because as I was leaving the other day, I come down here to hand out money. I walked through Flower Avenue, where I first came down here and advocated about 3 or 4 years ago. I sat on the heater vents that come out in front of the $1 million condos, the only place. There was nobody, and I was freezing, and the jacket, nice clothes. I look at, why is that little old lady barely has a blanket? Oh, you can't go on the, oh, cop write you a ticket. I said, really? Well, I went and sat there all night while they did U-turns in front of me, trying to intimidate me. And after a day or two, gradually more and more people began to sit there. Wow. I left for a while, I came back, and it was all fenced off. My plans for peaceful protest thwarted. Well, now we have to ask ourselves, Dubai, a very small nation in the Middle East, is filthy rich, we all know that. Liberia has had more wealth, longer, in diamonds, should be the Dubai of Africa. Why is it not? 30% of their children are orphans from HIV. I went to UCSB and majored in microbiology. Before that, I graduated top of my class in chemistry. I know that the HIV virus was genetically engineered from the HTML2 leukemia virus, endemic to a small island in the Caribbean where it affects blacks with a rare form of leukemia. That's what Harvard University thought when they did the original studies that are buried. Most doctors don't even know about this. It was genetically engineered to kill blacks, period. Now, Liberia has Ebola and HIV. And when I was in Atlanta, when the Ebola patients were coming through there a few years ago, the only person who died was a black man. And in the Walmart, twice, for 2 days in a row, they had no napkins and no soap. So the only thing you could do to wash your hands after using the bathroom, and I said, management, why is there nothing? This is a Walmart. The next day, still nothing. Well, because Ebola was not airborne. But since a year ago, we have the CRISPN. You know what that is, right? Oh, the holy grail of genetic engineering. The first thing we knew we needed when Watson and Crick elucidated DNA in 1957. We can now go in. For the last year and a half, we have had the capability to wipe out mosquitoes in 6 months. We haven't, and it's not out of concern for the environment. It's because that was a test run in Atlanta to infect us with airborne Ebola, which is why we haven't wiped out the mosquito population. Russia and us, even though I have absolutely no history of using a biological war. Oh wait, we do, don't we? We do, and now we have what we need. Every disease is now curable because what we can do now is we can run a computer program just like Las Vegas does for a football game. They run it 100,000 times to get the odds, and we can do anything with a gene now. We can take any codon, adenosine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, AGCT. And I don't think I remember how to draw those molecules anymore, but we can. The problem was,
You probably know a lot more than I do.
The problem was, it was random, and if we figured, the only way you could figure it out, kind of, was to do it and get this. And how do you splice this? Well, you had to get an intercalating agent like bromine or iodine or radiation to maybe cut it here. And if you had, oh my God, was it hard. Now, like that. Anywhere, any length, anyone, put it wherever you want it. Like that. We can do, oh, I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
You know, I hate this.
We are now gods over life.
Yeah.
We have the ability to do everything with DNA, just as our alien predecessors who engineered us did, which means airborne Ebola, easiest thing in the world. What is the best way to spread that? Droplets of water through the air. Well, when the Ebola patients come through Atlanta, The only person who dies is a black person. We raped Liberia for all their diamonds, and every time there's an issue where they could get some freedom or something, boom, AIDS or Ebola rears its ugly head, and they stay poor. And then when all those Ebola patients are coming through Atlanta, we better make sure all the Walmarts don't have what they need to keep it. Because God, imagine if all they had was to wait for someone to rinse their hands with no soap and the blower, and it was airborne. That would be the best way in the world to spread the disease. God, what a coincidence! All that happened at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I hate to cut you.
Don't say that, because I have just enlightened you, and what
You have.
do with the information is up to you.
I have to
So
share
let me
this.
Tell you.
I'll be sharing this.
Me doing that is why I come here to do this, and somehow, some way, my driver's license, credit card, I have an EBT card, disappeared. Lucky if the SIM card's still on my phone. This happens anytime I try to do something like this. It's nobody here stealing. It's nobody stealing. But I don't know who or what force, Mormon, CIA, federal agent, you never know. Well, I know that definitely. Oh, by the way, you guys don't know what I used to do you?
No.
No? I used to work with Santa Barbara Narcotics and Vice. I worked on about 50 cases. It's the #1 narcotics and vice department in the United States. The only one chosen to work with the federal agencies during Operation JCAT, where we went after parolees who had absconded, violent crimes, and gang member attachments. Santa Barbara was the last city done. We got 84 people in one night. My contribution was a young man who was given heroin cut with shoe polish his first time and OD'd on it. Manny Ramirez. Not Ramirez, that was a Dodger. But anyway, my partner was Dan Taglis. Dan Taglis, a bomb diffusion specialist, now works in Santa Maria, where he runs SWAT pretty much from Santa Maria to LA. And you can verify this because I have intimate details, intimate knowledge of 50 cases, including 2 with the DEA and 1 with the FBI, where I double-crossed the feds because they were trying to find out how the Crips were preventing their cell phones from being tracked. And Dr. Dre told me I was a sharp motherfucker because he didn't know about any of it until I double-crossed the feds and chose the Crips, my people, because this is where I feel love. This is where I feel the spirit of Jesus. And the feds or any of those right-wing, racist, hating motherfuckers can take it and shove it here, because I'm Christian Patriarcho. I was the best of the best, or the worst of the worst, depending on who you talk to. But the biggest fear you can do in Machiavelli's Art of War is when a general switches sides. It is better to bring a general to your side than to kill him. I consulted with Santa Barbara Narcotics and Vice. They brought me in to solve cases. For example, there was a burglary ring where a police officer's car had gotten broken into and his gun and badge were stolen. And my information led to the recovery of that. The whole thing started when a couple of Crips had done a home invasion burglary up there, and I found the car and led to their arrest, and I had a contract put out on me for that.
Ooh. Hey,
Long story short, now I love the Crips, and I'm glad, because I hope they took that information that was going to be used against them. Boom. And that's why the feds hate me, and why for a while they were trying to have me killed by turning my brothers and my people against me. Well, you know what? This is where I feel safe. And when I left the other day and I saw Flower Avenue, and I saw the gentrification, and where were all those beautiful little old ladies that were out in the cold? They died because those rich white elitists up in that bank, some of them were smirking at me. They knew who I was. One guy made a smart-ass remark, "Oh, we won." He was saying, "It's better than po niggers are dead off the sidewalk." And I felt like I was in the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I turned around and I came back here. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.